Well, this is Steve Ridgel, and we live on a ranch just southeast of Abilene, about 30 miles. And we had kind of an odd thing. It's been stormy, getting ready for the fall. And so a few weeks, couple, maybe 3 weeks ago now, we had some little fine hail. It looked like snow in the yard, and our dogs played in it like it was snow. But right in the middle of that, it got real intense, and I heard this powerful wind thing, and we were kind of in the garage of our barn door, and just real quick, I heard this just big whoosh. Now we've lived in West Texas a long time, and you learn that can sometimes mean tornadoes. And in fact, I did find out later, the little town about 12 miles from us was blowing the tornado warning siren. But I heard it was real quick and real fast, and it was over and got real still. And I thought, we might have just had a little tornado come through here. And so I opened the garage door, I walked out, and I looked out, and there was my tractor right where it should be. And I thought, okay, good. And then I thought, something doesn't look right. And I realized the whole tractor shed was gone, ripped out, electrical wires pulled, everything. And so I turned around and looked across our drive and across the little parking area into my north pasture, or my east pasture, and there were 50 pieces of metal, mesquite trees sheared off, just ripped through. And I went and looked at my truck that was right by it, not a scratch on it. It blew right by my truck. Didn't hit the barn door. The dogs and I were inside, so we were safe, but it tore that shed to pieces. I started to say it shredded the shed, but I wasn't sure I could say that. Boy, and then my neighbor calls and says, hey, we got a big oak tree that just came up and down and all over the fence, and went up there, and after some work and having to pull trucks back out of mud because we couldn't get in good, we finally got that fixed. And it was a big oak tree. How in the world it came through and just took that one. So we started calling neighbors, and most of them it didn't do any damage and missed most of them. So I've thought a lot about that. One is I'm amazed again and a little bit in awe of the power of nature. Boy, nature is powerful. If we had been out, we couldn't have stopped that. And if I'd been out and it came up so fast and blew so hard, if I'd been out and that metal had come by, well, I'd have been in 50 pieces over in the pasture. And then I realized, you can't do anything about nature that powerful except my God has power over nature. He could have stopped that. And for all I know, God directed that tornado to go right through a very narrow path and not do any serious damage. But your shed, yeah, it's gone. We're going to have to replace that. But you know what? It's a shed. And things are things. And they're fixable. And they're replaceable. But I thought a lot, and so I spent a lot of time. Marcia and I, she wasn't even here, but when she got in, she was like, she saw the damage first, and that scared her, and she, of course, pulled around quickly. And, man, tornadoes are funny. We had a couple of buckets right by the shed. They didn't even budge. How in the world it didn't blow those? But picked up that whole shed and flipped it. Oh, and it was strong enough it turned on my turn signal on my tractor. I never used the turn signal. I've never turned it on in my life. The whole time I've had it, never turned it on. Wind big enough, it flipped over. And it was signaling right turn out there all by itself. Sets on the gravel bed, didn't even rip up the gravel, didn't stir the gravel. Couple of board steps, didn't even touch them. But everything above, I guess about 2 foot, our shed was lower. I don't know how that all works. But I do know we spent a lot of time thanking God for sparing us. Power of nature, thankful to God, and reminding myself things are just things. So, my observations on a little bitty West Texas tornado.